Hi and welcome back to my channel. Today I will be creating a whimsically spooky tree from trash. I'm taking this pile of trash that I have minus 2 objects, and I will be starting by building the trunk. So I have these pieces of wood that were from an easel that had broken, and I've had them for a while, so I decided they would be a good material to use for the structure of my trunk. That way I could just build off of that. So I'm using a combination, as you'll see throughout this whole video. Screws, glue, tape, and wires are my friends. And I did secure a couple of the pieces with screws. These 2 exterior pieces I go ahead and secure with some glue and then tape. And then I will do that to both sides. Right here, I am taking the 2 larger pieces of wood that I had in the top right hand corner, and I'm just making more height to my tree. The other 2 pieces of wood will be used as branches, which I do adhere those off camera. So now they're all screwed in. Now that I have these 2 pieces secured with some screws, I'm going to go ahead and work on the base of my tree. For the base, I decided to use this old coaster holder I had. I've never used it, but I didn't want to throw it away, so I decided that I could use it for this project. And then I took a lid. I'm a keeper of all lids and caps, if you know me and you know the art I create. I love to utilize caps and lids for little ghosty scenes, but this one was perfect. Almost perfect in size. It was a little bit smaller, but it's okay, I made it work. And I'm just drilling holes into it. As you'll see coming up, I am going to thread some little sandwich ties, I guess you could say. That one wasn't from a loaf of bread. It was from a package of something, and I decided to keep it. But the other ones, I just utilized some little metal sandwich ties that I had, and I'm just weaving it in and out to secure the metal to the lid. And then I do that to all 4 sides. After those pieces are secured, I go ahead and put a big dollop of glue in the middle, and I put the trunk of the tree inside. And then to secure it even more, I'm going to take some wire strips and secure that and weave it in and out through the metal from the coaster holder and the wooden beams. This is just going to make it a little bit more sturdy while the glue dries, and then you will see my next step in a moment. Now that I have the wire secured, I go ahead and what you're seeing me do here is I'm just creating bulk in the empty space between the cap and the wood. And this is just filling it up with, honestly, trash, just different pieces of trash that I have. Just scrap foam and foil and anything with a little squish, but that can be jammed in those little spaces below. And now I'm just taking, this is the start of when I start taking physical pieces of trash, like this old sanding block that had seen better days. And then now I'm just gluing just various pieces of trash that I have collected and I thought I could use for different things, like I said, but they just needed to be used up. A lot of these white board markers that have seen their last days, and that's what happens when you're homeschooling your little one. You have some waste sometimes from just pins and markers and such, but I try to keep those and then I can use them in other things. And I have these random triangles and foil and just various odds and ends that you will see me glue to bulk out the trunk of my tree. And here is the tree with all of its trash on it. I used up every little bit I had, even the baggies that were storing trash. I used those as well to hold more little objects, tape that up, and it's amazing how much I could fit in this smaller tree. And I'm just happy that I'm able to build something whimsical and spooky, or whimsically spooky as I say, out of trash. It just makes my heart happy that this doesn't end up in the landfill. So from this stage, now I'm going to build another base for the tree. A little wider of a base for the tree to sit on. And of course, I want to use up as much of my trash as possible. So that's why I'm using a lot of smaller caps within this bigger lid. But at the same time, it also does help to reinforce the more flimsy lid, just because it's flimsier and I didn't want to have any wasted space. So now I'm going and just, tape's my friend and I'm taping everything up so it gives everything a nice coverage. And then after I get everything taped up, this slightly wider piece will be glued to the other base of the tree, the smaller base. And then from there, you will see what I end up doing with the tree as a whole. After I had everything secured, I went ahead and then coated everything with more tape to give a smoother texture for my paper mache. I did not show the whole process of this, but it's just a watered down glue mixture, and I just coated to make more of an even surface and everything a little bit more, even more structurally sound for the tree. And then from there, I went ahead and did a base coat. I took these recycled paper patties, created bark, and I'm sorry I didn't show the whole process of gluing that on and painting, but here is the reveal of my whimsically spooky tree. I just adore how it turned out. I've made 4 trees now, and I think they just get progressively better. But I love all the quirky details, the whimsy, the little bit of touch of spooky, just with I have a little ghosty that sits on one of the mushrooms. You'll see that soon. And then I did a tiny ghost painting inside this keyhole. I love keys, so I wanted to have a lot of dangling keys. It's a mixture of keys that I already had, some vintage keys, and then a couple of them I did make myself from some molds. So that one is one that I made. And then I added some shelf mushrooms and some knots in the tree. I just wanted it to look like some branches had been cut off, give even more of a realistic feel to the tree. And I've hung a tiny little bird cage with a candle. And this is just giving you a look at all the details of my faux bark, which just adds a really special touch to this mysterious tree. I added a potted plant, a little ghosty mouse from a wonderful artist, and a little ghosty at the very bottom. I hope you enjoyed the whole process, and if you want to see more creations, make sure you subscribe. I will see you guys soon. Bye bye.